Hey everyone, Ravenspirit here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jay or Ravenspirit. My pronouns are they, them. I am non-binary. I am originally from TikTok, if you are unfamiliar with me. We've got a pretty large spiritual community over there. I am a healer who has also been on the journey of healing. So nothing really separates us. Every reading I also take as a lesson for myself. We're just learning this together. You know, there's nothing that really creates any type of hierarchy or anything like that. I'm learning as well. So let's learn together. Today I wanted to sit down and do a reading, kind of a love reading, but the thing about my love readings is that they're not just about, you know, will he come back? Will she come back? Will they come back? You know, it's more about what can I do to help heal the separation or help heal myself in the separation? What can I learn about, you know, my journey of love? And here we've shuffled a few cards from my own personal deck that I only use on myself. But I've been called by Spirit to share this particular reading with this particular deck here. I've got a selenite to cleanse the energy. I've got more cards over here if you want to take a look for any clarifiers that I might need. And let's just go ahead and jump into this. I think what I want to focus on today is what we can do to help heal the separation. And as per usual, take it as it resonates for readings that you find online. And this separation, I hope it's clarified that I don't encourage people to accept somebody who is toxic or detrimental to your mental health in any negative way, you know. So if that is your case, then this definitely might not be for you. Just keep that awareness as you seek out these readings, okay? That's all. All right, so let's go ahead and tap into this. I'm going to start off with these four. Interesting. Okay. Please ignore any sounds outside. I do live kind of close to a airport here in Dallas. So sometimes you might hear some, oh man, I'm just learning the camera placement. I'm so used to filming everything vertically. Here we go. Okay, I think I see everything. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. All right. So the question is, what can we do to help heal ourselves or heal this separation? Okay, we got Four of Cups, Union, King of Water, Emotions, Eight of Wands, Two of Swords, Nine of Swords, and the Nine of Cups at the end, okay? And these are just the steps that we're taking to help heal these processes. And now, you know what, like, I want to mention that something about this deck is that it does not really go along with the traditional tarot, right? And so some of the numbers, like Union, this isn't gonna be just about like the death card in a traditional tarot. Like, this is its own individual card, you know what I mean? So you're not gonna find the same kind of cards. This is Dreams of Gaia, I believe. So here we go. Okay, and there's my cat. Let's first hop into the Four of Cups here. We got, if you can see right here, this person, they've got this scar on their eye, right? And they're holding this beacon of light, right? In the traditional tarot deck, the Four of Cups goes into crossroads. Maybe it's like this pause in a relationship, or else maybe signs of breakup or some kind of coming apart in order to think about and process a lot of things and what decision you're going to make, right? In another deck, this shows, like the Zen Tarot deck, it shows like you're at this crossroads in order to address inner demons and things like that, right? And in this particular deck, they're holding this beacon of light, which, if you remember in the Rider White deck, the universe is handing a cup to a person who is focusing on all of the cups that have tilted over. And if you're unfamiliar with tarot, the Four of Cups is a suit of water, which is a suit of emotion, right? And so emotions can go into a lot of things. Your inner demons, it can go into the past, it can go into the future, it can be in the present. It's just you're contemplating all of your options here, right? And something about this card, it talks about, you might be focusing more on what you lack and less on what the universe is giving you, right? So you're focusing on all of your mistakes instead of all of the lessons that you have learned, right? And I think you're allowing your flaws to kind of overpower you a little bit. Like you're giving too much power to the flaws, right? And one of the decks in the Zen, the Osho tarot deck, it talks about how you're enlightening yourself. You're listening to your inner demons in order to understand the lessons, right? So you're taking the mistakes that you've made and turning them into lessons, okay? And so what's happened here in this separation is there's this period where you realize, wow, I've kind of been blind to my flaws and I've been overpowered by them and I haven't really been embracing them too much, okay? And I feel like that's what's happening here. You've got your third eye, you've got, the light and the dark, maybe you've got purity and sin, yin and yang, and then you've got dragons, which are a sign of wisdom or spiritual wisdom, okay? And you're looking toward this beacon as a beacon of light and surrounding this darkness, So if you've gone to the depths of an ocean, it gets darker and darker. But what's going to help you see through that is light, right? And so it's a similar kind of metaphor with this separation, right? This crossroads is about tapping into the darkness a little bit and trying to understand it a little bit more, right? So the questions that you could be asking yourself are like, are you looking at yourself with less love than you should? You're looking at all of these demons saying, oh, this is all of who I am, you're apologizing a lot for your flaws, right? So are you seeing your flaws and imperfections and apologizing for those flaws and imperfections instead of seeing that those are the things that kind of make you who you are, and they've shown you the lessons, right? They've helped you understand more about love. And I feel like there's this element with the Four of Cups. It's like looking back at the past, right? And letting the past be something that has completely overpowered you, in the sense of you've been bringing the past into all of your relationships, or maybe you and this other person are at this crossroads because you've realized, wow, this connection is making me see a lot of things within myself that I have not fully addressed yet, and it looks like it's like you've been looking for the perfect relationship that's going to heal your inner demons, right? Or make you feel like everything is perfect, okay? And so it's like you're using a relationship as a way to compensate for these flaws and imperfections instead of learning about them and embracing them and understanding that you're human, right? This idea of perfection, it's not necessarily attainable. We're light and dark, you know what I mean? You have to, it's like recognizing the beauty in those things, recognizing the beauty in all of the heartaches that you've been through, or all of the childhood traumas that you've been through. In a way, it's like it's taught you a lot about who you want to be, who you are becoming, and who you are, So it's like maybe you're being too hard on yourself, right? And this is a period where you're being forced to look at those inner demons during this separation, or a little bit, right? It's about releasing the idea that you're inadequate, right? And maybe that's kind of what's caused this crossroads, this feeling like, man, I don't want to ruin this because I'm inadequate, and I failed a lot, or I've had a lot of heartaches, and I don't want to encourage that in this connection, right? And so I need to come apart and address those things. But I feel like on both ends, that's what's putting you at the crossroads in the first place, is the idea that you are inadequate, you know what I mean? And I feel like with this, he seems to be looking at this beacon of light as though it's from the perspective of the higher self, right? Seeing your life as like, wow, your higher self does not judge you, right? You judge yourself. And I feel like this is a period where you have to learn not to be so hard on yourself, right? And also recognize that you are deserving of all of the love that you're looking for and dreaming for, right? And you are deserving of that healing. But you also have to recognize so is your partner. So have you been going into relationships being like, this is what you need to provide for me and this is what I deserve, right? But you forget that your partner also deserves this crossroads or this period of contemplation where they can see and understand their own past, energy or repressed emotions or something like that that have been blinding them a little bit, right? And there's something about this connection that they're being forced to see that, and so just like you are deserving of this healing and you're deserving of this, that true love that you've been looking for, so is your partner. And in order to come together in a way that is balanced, you have to allow room for that, and then you come into union, right? Which this union is not necessarily about, two people coming together, okay? This is about journey of self, remember? Because the question is, what can we do to help heal this separation, okay? And I think right here with the union card, you have the same energy, like light and dark, right? Except for in this case, they're looking away from each other, like you've been separating the two. But in this case, they're coming together. I think that's an important thing, and they're freeing themselves, okay? And there's all of these lines, these chakra points here, okay? And I feel like it's coming into complete unison, right? Harmony and balance can only arise when you're whole, right? And so this crossroads here is a suggestion, or it tells me that right now, you and or your partner, or you're both reflections of each other, right? And so maybe in a way, both of you are not whole, right? You've been trying to use a relationship as a way to become whole, but that's not going to work. Harmony and balance can only arise when you're whole within yourself, right? Your healing has unlimited potential. And that means that you're never done healing, okay? So you have to allow these periods of healing, right? You have to allow yourself to go within to fill that void, okay? And, it's the void you can't use relationships as a way to fill the void, right? You can't really allow yourself to identify with things that come and go, right? Emotions that come and go, sorry. Here we go. Sorry, bumped the camera. Or people that come and go, right? So you have to allow yourself to go within to fill that void. And within, the deeper you go within, and that process is, this, if we're looking at the death card, because I believe this is the number for death, right? And that's spiritual awakenings, transformations and things like that. And this one, it is union, right? And so you are going to the center by asking questions and seeking out the answers to those questions, right? Like, what have I been doing to fill the void? Have I been using relationships to fill the void? Have I been using negative self-thought to fill the void? Have I been using too much logic to fill the void? Too much emotion to fill the void? Have I been allowing the past to fill my void? Have I been, avoiding my void, avoiding the center, using relationships to avoid that center void within yourself, right? At the center is stillness. At the center is peace. At the center is harmony, okay? I also think this is about duality in a way, right? Because if you've been looking at things like good and bad, right? You're looking at this relationship and seeing, oh, this is good, this is bad about them. I feel like that is causing another issue here, because just like this card here talks about, you have to embrace your inner demons and come together, right? And that's a whole sense of union. This is the idea that good and bad kind of separate that union, okay? Both sides are beneficial for your growth and for your alignment, right? For your freedom from those particular energies, right? It's like not looking at things at surface level of good and bad. You're going deeper. Like, why do I feel the need to have this, or why do I feel sad about the separation? Well, because, it hurts my feelings that we need to come apart. Why? Because I don't want to, because I need that affection. Why? Because I don't want to be alone. Why? Because in the past, everything crumbled whenever people needed to pull away from me, and I'm saying this based on my own fears as well. These are things that I have felt. So I'm just using that as an example, but it's like with union here, You're going deeper, and you're seeing, oh, the reason why this separation makes me severely uncomfortable. I miss this person, and I've been realizing that I kind of fill my own internal void with other people or relationships, right? But the void is what we need to develop ourselves, right? The void is what we need for growth, right? And allowing yourself not to see things at a surface level, right? I'm very depressed. You have to get deep within it, ask yourself why, until you come to the core reason. I'm afraid to be alone. I'm afraid to look into my childhood and see ways that maybe I've been allowing certain traumas to become prisons for myself. I am afraid to, whatever it is, right? If you are lonely, seeking a relationship based in loneliness, you are building a relationship based on need, based on fear. Okay, so have you been building relationships based on fear of going within, or fears of being alone, and building relationships based on that kind of loneliness, or based on, man, I feel like I'm lacking something, therefore let me go find a relationship to make up for that lack? That's not going to build the kind of foundation that you need, because if you notice here, we have no pentacles here. Okay, and so this is a sign, like there weren't the foundations built into this, and the foundations are time. The foundations are joy and trust and understanding and compassion and healing, and not just love, right? Love is not the only thing that goes into a relationship. It's not always gonna be light all the time. You have to embrace the darker parts of relationships, okay? And from there, the more you try and seek out this internal union within yourself, okay? Let's tap into the King of Cups, or the King of Water here, okay? The King of Water, to me, this card goes into both the energy of nurturing and jealousy, okay? Both the energies of protectiveness and possessiveness, right? The more emotionally fulfilled you become, the more aware of your emotions you become. I think it's a need to address both elements here, and not just the happier elements of complete emotional joy and fulfillment. And that's all great. But the question was, what do we need to learn or heal in order to understand the separation or heal the separation? Okay, so I think there needs to be a balance between your nurturing energy and your jealousy, or a balance between your protectiveness over a connection and also possessiveness. You cannot claim something that comes and goes. You cannot claim another person. They're in their own journey of union, right? This is their journey of union too. They have to come to understanding of that as well, right? This is about finding an emotional balance in order to feel safe in whatever storms you're going through. Finding an emotional balance in order to feel safe in this kind of coming apart, so that you can come back together, right? This is about learning emotional adaptability, right? And that's gonna be what keeps you resilient in all of the stresses you're gonna face in this relationship or in any connection that you've come across, right? This is about allowing yourself to listen to your feelings in order to make your decisions, right? But that doesn't just mean letting the past determine your present, right? That does not mean looking at, oh, these are all of the ways that relationships have failed before, so I'm going to let that be the determining factor as to what I do in this relationship. No. This is about addressing your causes of jealousy, addressing your causes of being too possessive, addressing your causes of feeling like you need a relationship, or addressing your causes of feeling like you need another person. This is about addressing how you've been using relationships to replace a lack of potential nurturing, or a lack of a lack of parental nurturing, right? So something else that I'm picking up here, and maybe this taps into a more intuitive thing, is like maybe you've been using relationships as a lack of, or as a way to replace parental nurturing that you did not get, right? So if you look back into this crossroads, what kind of inner demons are you seeing as you are feeling? What things are being triggered here? For me, and separations, or this situation that I'm currently in, it's like I've been seeing things about maybe ways that my father and I have had issues, and I feel like I didn't receive that nurturing or that love that I got, or that affection that I wanted, or that affection that I needed, right? And so in relationships, I tend to be, it's like seeing any type of codependency, seeing any type of avoidant attachment styles that I've had, or else anxious attachment styles that I've had, because I kind of go back and forth, right? And it's like seeing, you cannot seek out a relationship to replace that paternal or parental nurturing that you did not get. That's not healthy, This is a relationship, not a parent, And so that's a deeper sign here of needing to go heal those, internal things that are happening within you, so that you don't put that kind of weight or that kind of pressure on a partner. That's not very healthy, This is about using your critical thinking and your emotional logic in order to see the ways that, you can heal this connection. This is about recognizing that relationships are not a possession, okay? Allow them to leave. If leaving is what they feel like they need to do in order to balance themselves out and balance their inner demons, let them leave in order to find that internal unity, in order to find the strength in your relationship, the strength within themselves to, come into this relation. Let it happen, right? And use it as a lesson to, like, balance yourself out as well, right? Let's see, emotions here. We got a sword right here, and this swords are about truth, about honesty, about time to me, or about communication. I also feel the need to say, your partner is their own extension of source energy, right? And so in that, you kind of have to let them be their own individual thing. And that's kind of why you can't possess them, is because they're their own extension of source energy. And so when they find that they're disconnected from source, they have to do what they need to do to go reconnect to source, so that they can reconnect to giving you the love that you are seeking. You know what I mean? So just like be careful about claiming people or claiming energies. You know what I mean? But back to this energy of emotions here. There's this light here, and this light in honesty, okay? This is about finding, I keep tapping into this thing, sorry. This is about finding the honesty in your emotions, or how are your feelings influencing you? How are, what are the messages behind your feelings, right? So for me, I'm like, wow, any type of separation, I'm very triggered right away, because I'm like, maybe I've been focusing too much on claiming a relationship. Maybe I've been focusing too much on filling a void. Maybe I've been focusing too much on all of the ways that, things have happened in the past. And those are triggering me going into a relationship where somebody needs to pull away or something like that, So this is like using it as an opportunity of healing. You know what I mean? So finding the messages behind those feelings, okay? Like, oh, wow, I see that this is a sign that I need to do some healing in this past connection that I had, or need to do some healing in this feeling of abandonment that I've had, or, I need to detach a little bit so that I can kind of heal, or that I can see the truth of the situation. This is also like kind of laughter, I don't know why, it's just the yellow and the orange. It makes you think of joy, it makes you think of laughing, right? So needing to find the laughter again, needing to find the joy again, needing to find a way to kind of laugh off a lot of the situations that have happened in your life, or reconnect to that energy of joy again, okay? I also think sometimes with swords, there can be a lot of repressed emotions, because you've been trying to be more logical about things, trying to detach too much, trying to be too avoidant of your emotions, okay? And so maybe recognizing sometimes when you repress too many emotions, it can create, like, I call it like a spiritual fungus, okay? And it's a fungus in your heart, it's a fungus in your soul, it's just fungus in your chakras, it's a fungus in just your energy overall. And those repressed emotions can cause a lot of anger toward the past, a lot of fears toward the past. And when those are repressed, it can cause a lot of triggers in the present relationship, okay? And I feel like that's kind of what's happened in this particular connection, is that this person has seen, oh wow, I've repressed a lot of my emotions, and I need to take a step back because I'm going to say things I don't mean, or I might have unnecessary anger for a lot of things. And so I feel like this was the most responsible thing for the person to do, or for you to do, is to have this separation, to address any type of repressed emotions toward the past, and recognizing and separating that from this present moment, right? So again, how has the past influenced your present state of emotions? Are you looking back at the past honestly and without judgment? Okay, without judgment is important. Sometimes swords can be about judgment. Maybe you're judging yourself too much when you think about the past, or maybe, oops, sorry. Maybe you're judging, I keep bumping into this, I'm so sorry. Maybe you are judging other people of the past too much, and not necessarily thinking too clearly. You know what I mean? So it seems like there's some clouded judgment here. And there's a need to address any type of emotional biases or bias in this situation, okay? Or in relationships in general, you know? Like feeling like, oh, anytime somebody pulls away, like, you know what, that's it, I'm just gonna, you know, cut them out because that's a sign of, you know, cycles or whatever. And that's like a fear of mine. Like, I will just detach right away when I see something like that, because I am afraid it's gonna be the past cycle again, or like it looks like past cycles, or it looks like, oh no, I'm gonna be abandoned, so I'm gonna pull out before that could possibly happen, you know? And that is a sign that this something that's still triggering me, like a repressed emotion toward the past. I'm not really seeing the present moment clear enough, not seeing that this person is an extension of their own source energy, you know, or source energy. And I've been judging or having these biases around it, right? So it's just like recognizing the trigger, asking yourself why, what can you do to reduce the trigger, right? So this could be looking at your sleep patterns, your drinking habits, your physical habits. This is looking at, you know, I mean, a lot of times our external bodies reflect our internal bodies, okay? And so, you know, lately, like when I get really stressed out or really emotional, my room tends to get very messy. And I always take that as a sign. What is happening below the surface here, below all of these emotions, right? Because there's a lot of repressed emotions that are happening here. And maybe starting off by clearing up your space, dusting out the cobwebs, you know, having a fresh start, repainting, reorganizing. You know, this is just like maybe refresh of your closet, you know, clearing out old clothes and bringing in new clothes. You know, that could help out balancing out your emotions, or finding healthy routines and habits so that you could subside these triggers that you're feeling, and making sure that those routines, that needs to be a daily practice of addressing and honoring your feelings, okay? You need a daily practice of that, especially if you are used to a childhood where there's so much trauma that you had to detach a lot. That can, you know, it could happen in a relationship where you tend to detach emotions and you're just not certain of how you're feeling, you don't trust how you feel. Well, now it's going to be a good practice of daily check-ins with your emotions. How am I feeling this morning? What are my intentions of the day, you know? And I think that is when we have the Eight of Wands coming in here. And wands are about fire, which is about flow, which is about energy, okay? So the Eight of Wands can, you know, some people say, this is rapid communication, this is rapid movement, that kind of thing, okay? This is going to be more about yourself, right? I think what's happening here is, this is to me about transformation through action. This is like getting it done. This is about, now that you spend this time at this crossroads, you found this, you know, the union, you've gone to your emotional depths, you have been honest about yourself and your emotions without judgment, you know, you've worked on these routines a little bit on your own. I think that's what your partner is also working on. Now you can take action into coming into unison, into, you know, transformation, okay, or into that communication. Now I can actually reach out without bias, reach out with that honesty and that love and that passion that I'm looking for, okay. Now I can change physically as well. So maybe there's a need here to incorporate more of a physical routine, and this physical routine is not about, oh, looking the best, you know, that's not what it's about. This is about increasing your mobility, increasing your physical fitness for healing your psychological and emotional states, okay? This is about making real changes so you can see them. So not just thinking about it, not just planning about it. No more planning. This is do. Now that I've been thinking about it, now that I've been thinking about this relationship in a healthy way, now I'm gonna do. Right now, I'm gonna physically come to you and say, hey, let's do what we need to do in a healthy way this time, so that it's not all chaotic, you know. So now this is like coming together. This is reaching out. This is, you know, making those actions to push forward. Now that I know what's happening internally, now I can do the things I need to do, right? This is communication. This is rebirth. This is joy. This is pride, right? And part of this, it's so interesting. After 8 of Wands, we have 2 of Swords here. Okay, so that's usually about choices. This is also sometimes, you know, people consider this no contact. Let's tap a little bit deeper into this 2 of Swords, all right? Because there's more to the 2 of Swords than just no contact, you know what I mean? Like, this is about recognizing both parties are right, right? Both parties are right. Because you remember, we're both extensions of source energy. So both of us are justified in our emotions, all right? Your triggers are not wrong, okay? So them pulling apart, you know, or whatever, yes, it affected you, right? But they're also right to pull away because they are also affected by other things that they need to heal. And you're also affected by other things that you need to heal. So both of you were right, you know, and this is not necessarily about like pointing fingers, right? I think you're used to that, and that's coming from a place of more like victimization or something like that because of the past, right? We have the King of Water here, or maybe that's just coming from a place of your inner child needing to heal, okay? So this is not about pointing fingers and saying good or bad. This is like, we're both right. Our emotions are justified. And we're going to come together in a sense of dichotomy, okay? In a sense of polarity, in a sense of, you know, recognizing this separation, and also coming together in unity in a way that is more integrated with a union, right? In a way that is more balanced, in a way that is more like balanced between, like, you know, we're tapping into the logical side of things now, okay? You're seeing both perspectives and saying, I can understand now where, you know, my judgment might have been clouded, or maybe I might have been judging you too harshly, or judging myself too harshly, not thinking too clearly, you know. You're seeing both sides of things now, and you're like, oh, I can understand, maybe I jumped the gun a little bit, you know what I mean? Or maybe we both jumped the gun, maybe we could have just been communicating this whole time, you know, whatever it is, whatever you come to the conclusion is just seeing, oh, both perspectives are right. Now on one hand, you can also see like maybe some of the feelings are like, oh, well, we could just be together and address all of these emotions. That is true, but sometimes love can be healing, and sometimes love can be just as destructive as fear, okay? In the sense, like, for me, sometimes when I'm feeling very overwhelmed in my emotions, I can't be around people because I need to process all of these emotions, right? So sometimes that especially if you're like in these lower vibrations, right? And you need to, each of those vibrations are important, okay? So not putting any judgment on lower vibrational energies, right? Sometimes you have to go exist in those energies in order to appreciate love, right? And so it's about detaching a little bit. So the detachment from love is important so that you can, you know, find that within yourself, and then you can be able to embrace it from other people, okay? So love can be just as destructive as fear, right? And I think that's what's happened here a little bit as well with the 9 of Swords here, is fear Nine of Swords can be this self-awareness that has been based in fear. Nine of Swords can be about like you've been leaving a lot of things up to your imagination, overthinking, thinking about the past in a lot of ways, thinking about the future. This is just giving into the energy of anxiety. This is giving into the energy of like victimization. This is about, you know, recognizing your past hurts that have become fears now. This is about imagining your fears away. Just as powerful as your mind has been in this whole process, you might have been overthinking or self-sabotaging in a lot of ways because your fears have become beliefs, right? Beliefs create realities, okay? And if your fear or if your beliefs are based in fear, then those create realities that are kind of imaginary because they're based in fear and not based in truth. Or maybe you've been restricting yourself based in fear, or controlling situations based in fear, right? And so this is about really, the Nine of Swords is an important card. I think we become afraid of it, but it's important to the journey because you're seeing, oh wow, these are ways that I have kind of controlled the situation, or maybe I have been overthinking my mind. Maybe my mind has been overpowering my heart a little bit. I feel like that's why we have this balance here, right? Emotion and intellect, the Nine of Cups, right? You need both energies here. So maybe with this Two of Swords is saying, oh, I've been too based in fear this whole time. And I need to tap into my emotional side now. And so that's where we come to this like sense of union, sense of unity, right? This emotion and intellect are equally important to each other. This Nine of Cups energy of euphoria, joy, right here, this is like darker side, or almost like this, like the fungus here, but in some ways the fungus is important because it's very telling of what things we need to heal. So that's important, you know what I mean? This is choosing balance between intellect and emotion. This is about allowing yourself to finally open up your heart, allowing yourself to choose to heal past experiences so that you can be in the present moment, so that you can understand emotional weight and break the cycle. This is about joy, acceptance, love, courage, emotional enlightenment. Look at this journey. It's like the both of you have done a lot of healing in this separation, okay? So let me ask the cards here. After this separation, when we have come together, and again, this is a healthy relationship. I feel like this is very healthy. Look at this. This is like, wow, yes, I totally understand your need to come apart. And so let's come apart in a way that is healthy so that we can heal ourselves, so that we can come together in a way of union. Look at that. Choosing love just fell out. So once this happened, you're going to be like, yes, now I can choose love. Once I've let myself experience these lower vibrational things and healing myself, I've had this change of heart. I recognized that, you know, this separation was kind of worth it, because it was worth the wait, because time has grown or time has allowed the most growth for us. Okay, what else is happening after this separation here? Anything else? Alright, so, you know, you're building the bonds of friendship. I think also seeking out love elsewhere and saying, you know, I can also spend time with my friends, you know. You're allowing yourself to release and let go of all of these traumas so that you can come together as friends and soulmates. Maybe this is about not just spending all of your time with friends. I think there's this sense of letting go a little bit so that you can not like, oh, we're ending the relationship. I feel like this is like letting go of all of the traumas, letting go of all of the pains, letting go of all of the false beliefs or the realities that we've created that are maybe based in fear, letting go of those pains so that we can, you know, choose this love, choose this union, choose this soulmate energy, allowing the sparks to flow and just letting go. And you know, I'd be like, you know what, I'm open to love now. I also think this is about getting to know each other. I also think this is about not just using your relationship as your only bond of love. This is about opening yourself up and saying, you know, I'm going to spend more time with my friends too, as well as you, so that we have this equal energy. We're not spending way too much time together, you know, but also just building the bonds of friendship overall. This looks like a great situation. I think things will be all right. I think this union or the separation, I don't think you should be asking yourself, when is it going to come back around? I think you should be asking yourself all of these deeper shadow work questions so that you can find that healing in the meantime and come together in a way that is a lot healthier. Okay? Lots of love.